Okay, welcome. So, yes, how you doing today? Can you just make me jealous with how much better the weather is on your side of the world? Why don't we
Uh,
just begin there? As a
sure,
f-
gladly.
as a
We're
fresh
sitting at
off the
a
BX10 man in the rain.
gladly. We're sitting at an absolutely balmy 55 degrees out here this week.
Incredible.
No more rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Sunny skies, few
right.
clouds.
And I'm sure people are complaining, right? They're probably losing their shit about how cold it is, forgetting that, I live in the North Pole.
I I lose my shit about how cold it is here, but that's because in the mornings when I got to walk the dog at like 6:30,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
that's sounds pretty nippy.
it was 35 degrees this morning, and
All right.
before the sun rises, it feels like 35 degrees.
Okay. All right. You get some street cred there. I was waiting for the BX10 in the rain and I just missed it. And while I was missing it, I was like, should I make a run? If I get hit by a car, at least I'll get paid more than I do currently now. And then and if I do make it, I'll get on the BX10. I don't need to wait in the cold rain again for this bus that I hate.
Right.
The fact that the MTA, if they care about said strap hangers, the fact that I even considered running through moving traffic to catch this bus, so I won't have to wait for the next one, should be something that they care about.
I mean,
But
they
there we
already
go.
don't care about adding like handicap ramps to subway stations, so
No,
they don't even care if people in wheelchairs get hit by shit.
no, they don't. They're like, it can't get worse, can it? And it's like, fuck you, MTA. So I'm drinking, by the way. I made a really cool cocktail that I was thinking to cheer me up on this on the road from purgatory on the BX10. Um, I
It's
made.
we can't see it. We've
Oh, you
lost your
you can't
video
see it.
already.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've lost my vid. Oh, when I go to the other screen, it loses the video. Okay, so I'll do it here. So I tried to make like a float, like a spiked float. So I did milk.
Oh,
I did milk. I did with Kanoto soda, which is a little bitter. It's Italian soda. It's a little bitter, but very good. I added some vanilla ice cream, and I added some Galliano Estretto liqueur, which has espresso in it, and I mixed it all together, and it's delicious.
that sounds luscious. I have a beer that I forgot
Uh-huh.
to get.
That's all right. Uh, and I wish we were sponsored by either of these things, but we're not.
Yeah,
So
I'm
instead,
not
today,
sponsored by Coke Zero either, but I have plenty of that lying around on my desk.
instead, today's show is sponsored by asbestos. So
Oh, this will be a good one then. Great.
I thought about it because I couldn't go into one of the offices today for the longest time, for over a year, our old office, because there was asbestos, it wasn't good conditions, and then finally I can go back inside and just everything is covered in plastic, and it's
See,
just like hilarious.
that's that kind of thing where I'm like, okay, you know, first of all, I don't trust it. If you close a room, building,
Mhm.
zone
Mhm.
because of asbestos or radiation or
Yeah.
fucking aliens or something,
Mhm.
great. You won't catch me walking anywhere in there for as long as I know that that happened.
Right. But
Doesn't matter
see,
if you mark the area as safe. But
mhm.
but these motherfuckers did you even dirtier because they left the evidence of a problem behind.
Yes.
They left the plastic. So is the plastic
All of it.
sanitized?
Who
Is there
knows?
asbestos powder on the plastic?
Who
What
knows?
what what does asbestos look like? I don't know.
What does
Do you know?
asbestos look like? Maybe it was my job to find out. Maybe they added that to my description too with no
maybe you maybe
explanation.
you're the guinea pig.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, guess why I had to go to this land forsaken? Guess.
Oh, I'm sure it was for a very
Because
very
it
good
wasn't it
reason.
wasn't it wasn't my first choice, of course, but guess.
I'm guessing it was for a meeting no one showed up to.
It wasn't a meeting. I
That
had
could
to
have been an
I
email.
had to procure something. Guess what I had to procure that I couldn't get that I couldn't have access to easily. I'll give
Business
you a
cards, a
I'll give you
laptop.
a hint. It's something. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you. It's related to something technological.
Okay,
Not a
okay.
laptop, but
Like a
something that
fucking
could an
USB stick.
accessory. An accessory. We're getting closer.
If
It's
it's not,
it's
if
only
it's
it's only been around for decades. Only been around since I don't know 2005, 2006.
a DVD.
God, God forsake me if I need to go any motherfucking place that had asbestos for a DVD.
We,
No, no, no.
we,
It was an Ethernet cable. A fucking Ethernet cable.
uh,
Because the printers cannot connect to the Wi-Fi. Why? Don't know. Nobody told me. I just found that out one day when IT said, "Yeah, but yeah, they don't connect to like I should know this." Like, yeah, the wireless printers. Oh, no, no, no. Those don't connect to the Wi-Fi. No, why would they be wireless then? Yeah,
see
why?
now that is
Why?
something that's been around since around 2004.
Wireless, yes, wireless printers with the purpose of. Okay, so then I find out, all right, so I'm supposed to know this fine. So it needs a local connection. I need to actually get an Ethernet cable. First of all, they barely put enough Ethernet ports in the fucking room that and then you have to
Oh,
go
I
to
know.
configure.
Oh,
Oh, I put
I
this in the
know damn
chat.
well they're
Put
not
the
doing that.
ports next. Then there has to be an outlet close by anyway. So there wasn't an Ethernet cable. I installed it in one printer in one place using the cable, but I couldn't get. There wasn't any cables lying around in our two offices, in our two closets.
Uh-huh.
So I had to go to to the land of asbestos to salvage a cable, and I did so, and I came back. Yeah. So that was my
Jesus
journey.
Christ.
All right. So yeah, sponsored by asbestos. You are listening to the Ballad.
Woo.
The
I think when, if or when the follow-up does not work out, that should be the podcast we do. Just a recap of your day.
it's gonna end up being both. No, this the Ballad will work out. All right, the Ballad. We need this. New York needs its own.
New York needs, yeah, sure.
Okay, so the bi-weekly, sometimes weekly, who knows? New York History Podcast, unofficially to the Dollop, connected, unofficial, allegedly. It's a homage. Where I, writer of the BX, blasphemous X10, experienced and incensed writer of the Metropolitan Trifling Authority, and father of a wildcat in one-bedroom apartment in said Bronx, read a story of New York history to my cousin, my motherfucking friend Chris, who has never heard it before. All right,
Not
introduce
even
yourself,
once.
sir.
Yeah, I'm Chris, and I've got the good weather.
Chris with the good weather, instead of like that expression, Becky with the good hair. Motherfucker, everybody hate Becky with the good hair. So we hating Chris with the good weather right now.
Fair weather, Chris.
Standing like a bunch of bums with no even coverage for the bus stop. Just
I mean,
like you're
that's good.
already
Yeah,
fucked. They're like
absolutely.
you're already fucked. Just accept
It
you're
is
fucked.
it is
Why do
funny.
you
I
even need
will
a
say,
cover?
I will say, out here, I mean, even though, oh, that's good. One of those just cut out. I
Hmm.
will say, out here, even though the weather is nicer 99% of the time, we did just have a rainy spell for like 2 or 3 straight weeks,
Oh God forbid.
and none of the like everything is built as if that is impossible.
Yeah. No.
Everything's built as if there's no way that'll ever happen.
Right.
So we have bus stops that are exact. I mean, they're just like the bus stops in New York, where it's like here's a little peg in the fucking ground. It says like, hey, this piece of shit will pick you up sometimes, but there's never. I don't even see covered bus stops anywhere besides city centers, and
Yeah.
everyone there drives.
Yeah. Fucking the size of a cork in the screw drainage.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah,
1957.
what a
Ross
what a year.
Ross Cellino Jr.
We're
was
getting back
born.
to the Italians this time.
Ross Cellino Jr. was born in Buffalo, New York. Born to Rossellino Sr., was a successful attorney. Junior's father hung out, you know, more normal legal world. More. This was before the industry blew up as it is today, as we'll get to later. 1950s Buffalo, son of a poor farmer, just trying to climb up the social ladder, support his family. Many jobs, box factory
That's
laborer. Yeah,
that's senior.
this is senior.
Okay.
This is he who uh it, I was gonna say he who in part birthed the junior. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, he didn't really have much part in the birth, but anyway, you know what I mean. All right, so box factory laborer, bowling bowling alley pin sticker.
Now that's you know when they. I've always lamented that they automated that job away.
Yeah, I mean, where's the union of the pin
Where's
guys?
the where's the pin
Where's the
setter
sticker
union at?
boys? Yeah, where's Sticker Boy Local 58?
The local stickers. 501.
Waiter, income tax preparer, and he worked in steel, which no surprise, Buffalo, Rochester, all of that upstate, upper west New York, big on steel, big part of the Rust Belt, as they say, and worked on a big cold saw. I don't exactly know. I mean, I imagine it's a saw. I don't really know what the difference is between a cold saw and a regular saw. Uh,
I couldn't tell you personally.
because
They
I would
both hurt.
think they both hurt. It's gonna hurt cold or hot. It's a fucking saw. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So I don't know how, especially if it's a machine, I would think it'd be hot, but whatever. So it caused partial hearing loss. So this guy worked very hard to support his family, and his steel job was at night, help finance law school during the day.
Hmm.
He launched a firm, the first Cellino firm with a local lawyer, and they took anything that came to door, real estate, criminal cases, trusts, some, and this will be the big phrase to come, some personal injury.
Always a
Whatever
good,
paid the bills
always a good sign.
for a growing brood of nine children in working class Buffalo.
So
Nine.
this is it? Okay, so senior is one of nine.
Senior has
This is
contributed nine children. No, he
oh, I
has
see.
he has
Wow.
nine children.
This is that like we're not sure if medicine really works yet kind of stable. Like we're just gonna
We're,
we're
yeah,
just gonna keep churning them out in case like if four of them die, we still have five
right.
kids.
Right. It was so funny. Steven said that the other day. It was hilarious. He was like, at that point, it's all percentages. It's all statistics. You
That's
just
it.
gotta keep
That's
you
it.
gotta keep churning them out for the best.
If you lose, I mean, I'm sure tragedy if you lose one, but then it's like I do
Fucking
have eight other kids. I
the
mean,
fucking
Jesus
poor
Christ.
woman that had to go through all, like, back in the day before they had any science, all the
Do
births and then the loss and then the births again.
Do you want to hear one of the worst things I've ever heard about this?
Yes.
You can
Probably
have
not, but yes. Yeah.
yes, you can have so many children, right? That if you're a woman who gives birth enough times, right,
Yeah.
your teeth will start to suffer because
What?
all the calcium you're losing all the calcium, right, in,
Oh.
in, in your body for bone formation of the
Holy
child.
fuck.
So you start losing your teeth after like, the seventh or eighth kid, unless you keep that calcium intake pretty high.
That's wild.
Isn't
Damn.
that the most fucking insane thing you've ever heard?
Childbirth goes all the way up to your damn teeth. Holy shit. And
I do not
motherfuckers
envy. I do
motherfuckers
not
still
envy.
won't pay child support. Insane. All right. So so now Cellino Jr., part of this brood, part of this group of nine children. Cellino Jr. interested when he was a young man, he was interested in football, active kid, smart kid, and then ultimately after going to Buffalo for undergrad, stayed in Buffalo and continued following his father's footsteps in the law. But
All right.
Buffalo wasn't exactly matching Cellino Jr.'s high ambitions.
All right. I've heard some things about there. I could believe that.
So, uh, he worked DWI and like his father, he was doing different kinds of cases at first. DWI real estate, in the early 80s, working about 80 hours a week for. Is that true? 9,000? Well, I'm thinking about inflation in the 80s. 9,000 a year? No, that still sounds low. I'm trying to think, what would that be now? In the 80s, 9,000 a year? And working 80 hours? That's wild. But you know
That's
what? It's also
that sounds
Buffalo.
criminal. That sounds
It's also
criminal. No,
Buffalo.
I don't know. I don't know about that. You got to remember 80s is when the that's when the conservative that's when wages stagnated, right? So he
Yeah.
might just be catching when that was possibly acceptable, but I doubt it.
Well, he was so business clearly wasn't great. And he became intrigued by ads that attorneys were placing in the yellow pages. Huge display. Oh, and for those that don't know what the fuck the yellow pages are, so in the land before we had uh, internet, or when we had dial-up internet, when we really wanted to find out something like whether a person existed and how to contact them,
Hmm.
and uh, who was the local chiropractor, you know, who was the local veterinarian, uh, nutritionist, anything, including, yeah, important services too, like
or
a fuck or
or
doctor,
midwife or midwife certainly.
midwife, midwife, especially after the ninth child.
Gonna keep that one written down on the near the phone.
Right. Yeah. As ninth one coming up, gotta call the midwife. Um. So these were. Oh yeah. And so all of these things were written down in like size -5 font in these huge books that could probably commit homicide. I remember my friends, but I remember, I think I told you this story. I knew people in '95 who threw phone books off a roof.
I mean,
Uh,
that is a surefire way to end someone's life.
That is assault with a deadly weapon, allegedly, 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 allegedly. I don't know
It absolutely is.
what. That was the first time I had really had my police encounter, because I met them not knowing the dumb shit they did, and me and Rudy met them, and then the cops showed up and were like, "We got some complaints about a bunch of Utes on the roof throwing off phone books," and me and Rudy were like, "These dumb motherfuckers." Because the thing is, we really thought, I bet one of these dumb motherfuckers really did it too. Allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. But we don't. Well, we didn't know. We just got there, so we told the cop, and the cops. I mean, we might as well have said. It doesn't matter. We
right.
might as well have said
It,
we supplied them with them. We might as well have said that when we said we just got here 5 minutes ago. They don't care.
no, I'm
Anyway,
surprised they didn't approach you with their guns drawn.
yeah. Well, they used the bullhorn about 5 feet away from us when they told us to get our hands up and get against the gate, when just normal dialogue would have worked. So
Jesus fucking Christ.
Sergeant that day, he hadn't used the bullhorn for a while, so he was like, I gotta dust off this motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, let
Real
let
quick.
let
Let me just scare some 12-year-olds real quick.
yeah, let's use it within absolute earshot and fucking make them go half deaf without using the cold saw. Uh, Anyway, so these displays were they used to have huge ads in Yellow Pages as well. They would cover a lot of real estate. It was a big deal if you can get a big ad in the Yellow Pages. So
Hmm.
it says here, Yellow Pages full displays for the attorneys could cost about $100,000. So that's a lot, especially if he's making this little money. So Cellino wanted to find out how effective this is and if it matters, if he should do this. He took a few lawyers out to lunch who made the ads and wanted to talk to them, just like lawyer to lawyer. But
Hmm.
when he started asking questions, he really felt like they were saying it's not worth it. And Cellino was thinking, you know what, they're saying that because it does work. So Cellino said, I'm going to do the opposite. It encouraged him. Cellino first bought a business card size ad, and then a half page, and then more, nothing too big. But this was the thinking from the article. The ads brought in just one $300,000 case, he reasoned. I don't know how we're jumping. This article jumped a bit because we're going from 9,000 a year to a 100,000. Dad must have some money. I'm sorry.
He's
Senior,
seen. I
senior,
think he's seen
senior
some
got some money in the
success.
bank.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. He's. This is yeah. Buffalo. He might be the only lawyer in Buffalo in the 1950s. Who the fuck knows? 80s.
But he said if the ads just brought in one $300,000 case, he reasoned that's 100,000 in attorney's fees. So he's thinking about how much it was worth and that he thinks it's worth it. And he became more aggressive, and he realized they did lie, his competitors. The ads worked, and they just didn't want him to be a competitor.
I see.
So, to a little side for part of this history is that legal ads are actually a relatively new thing. There was a long it was made. One of the lawyers who made it famous is someone that Cellino would later meet with, but this was something that was due to some changes in the 60s and 70s, meant to give people more access to legal process, right to counsel, expanding class actions. That led to more actual advertising of legal practices. Prior to that, it actually wasn't common, and it was also like um, frowned upon for lawyers to advertise, which in the world we live in today seems insane.
So far
But
away. Yeah.
yeah, so in 1977, Supreme Court heard the case about a legal clinic that specialized in low-cost legal help, and the lawyers advertised, and there was a suit brought against them. I don't know right now from whom, but the court agreed that on First Amendment grounds, they should still be able to advertise. I don't know why that would be any other outcome. Uh, but Stanford law professor Nora Engstrom says no one thought at the time, this is going to sound funny, no one thought attorney advertising would be used, even then, by personal injury lawyers, which is like the first thing we think about now.
Yeah, they really kind of missed the mark. Kind of opened the floodgates on that one. That's this is one of those times where I wish, we got the classic tweet is like, imagine showing this to an 18th century child. Imagine showing today's advertising to these motherfuckers who thought there was no way.
Yeah, now we got commercials that on its own volition turned the volume up to 9,000 on my fucking OLED.
My
Um,
least my least favorite. My least favorite.
right after
Can't
Riverdale
stand it.
Chrysler Jeep. Uh, so one of the lawyers that made this famous that would later meet was Morris Bart, who spends upwards of 25 million a year, and he started in the 90s to really make what we consider now as the standard practice, the usual practice for legal advertising. This New Orleans lawyer, Morris Bart, he kind of pioneered what we think of when we think of advertising in the 90s. So just some background. So back to Cellino. So he's putting out these ads, and now he starts working with his father. And his father is going to retire in the early 90s. So Cellino and his father's partners Cellino Sr. and his father's partners are eager to find some young person to help replace. So Cellino's already going to be there. Junior's going to be there. But they need someone
Mm,
else.
hmm
And a local lawyer named Richard Barnes reached out with a suggestion. How about his younger brother, Steve? And now it begins.
Okay, good.
So Barnes is only a year younger than Cellino, even though they kind of looked old, kind of look reverse when you see them. Uh, Steve, so the article says this. It's funny. Steve Barnes. This is a quote from the article. Steve Barnes was the kind of guy who finished law school, then signed up for the Marines.
Okay, all right.
So I'm just prefacing all this for you with who
Just
we're
to
dealing
just
with
to make
here.
the drill instructor afraid of him, or what?
Exactly. So he served as a military lawyer, but then briefly saw action in the Gulf War in a tank battalion. So this man doesn't just wanna, he wants to be in the thick of it. It's not just like he wants to be a jag. He wants to be in it.
That's interesting. You think he signed up for service with the intention of getting himself into combat?
Well, this quote may answer your question.
Let's hear it.
So regarding this, Barnes says his decision to enlist was, quote, a primal compulsion, almost analogous to a woman's desire to give birth.
There's a primal compulsion to join the Marines and go fight in the Gulf War.
Almost analogous to a woman's desire to give birth, because all women want to give birth, right? That's what we live in. That's the world we live in. Every woman's like, I wait, can't fucking wait to hold this shit in for 9 months
I'm
and
just gonna.
push that shit out,
I'm just gonna
dilating,
pop
dilating,
them out.
centimeters, for this volleyball-sized motherfucker to come out.
So
Yes, Steve.
he's like, man, I gotta get my ass to the Gulf. I can't wait to fire an assault rifle at locals who deserve a lot better than this.
And that's after 3 years of law school. I'm just saying, like, this
Yeah,
man really is. He's Aaron.
it
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't need saying, but there's something fucking wrong with people. But anyway, yeah, okay, all right.
And he adds to this. This is like
You
when
know,
we did. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry,
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I just can't get out. I I'm always uh I think one of the turning points, like one of the most profound moments of my life was when I had to go take the SATs, and
Hmm.
because I'm a dumbass and I signed up for them really late, I could only go take them at a school really far away, right?
Yeah.
So I signed up for the SATs really late, and I can't drive a car yet, and my mom has to drive me to this school really far away. She's all fucking pissed off, and I'm pissed off, and like I'm just all like, "Man, fuck this! Like I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to take this fucking test." And then I got to that school, and they had a cabinet at the front. I've never seen anything like this before because I went to little suburbia,
Yeah.
rich white boy high school,
Hmm.
and they had a cabinet at the front of the school, and uh, it was a cabinet filled with portraits of kids that graduated high school and went straight to the Marines or Army, and then probably died, like portraits of kids who
Right.
had died in
Right.
service. And it was like, I need to go take this SAT. Like it was like it was like this is the only opportunity these motherfuckers had,
Right.
right? That is when you join the military. Like then I got it because I didn't get it until then. I was like, man, I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could
Right.
ever do that. But it's like, yeah, no, this is when you join. You don't do it because you want to squeeze triggers at people,
Right.
right? You do it because it's like, if I don't do this, I'm never getting out of this fucking town, right?
Uh huh. Right. Exactly.
So
And that's how it.
for this
Yeah.
guy to get 3 years of law, I mean, for the '80s, no less. Law school, graduating law school in the '80s, that was lawyer central in the '80s. Everybody wanted to be a fucking lawyer,
And it
right?
was less
You couldn't get
frequent.
enough of them.
But even if that's the case, it was less frequent. There were fewer law schools. There were fewer graduates. Now it's an even more. It was even more desired profession. So I mean, he knew he could make money, but he's like, I'd rather make war.
But instead of that, he was like, I need to grab a fucking gun and go somewhere where the laws no longer apply.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he is doing for fun what other people did out of necessity.
Yes, yes, and that man, that shit scares me. Like God, I've got a manager at work, and I absolutely love this guy. Like
Hmm.
he's probably the greatest manager I've ever had, and he spent a couple years. I think he went straight to the Marines
Hmm.
after Marines. I think so. Uh, after, after high school, I think he tried college, but he was like, I can't.
Hmm.
College, no. and he went, learned how to be like a, I think, radar operator or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, okay, he learned how, he went, he learned how to do a thing. He saw some opportunity in it. It's just that there's a very stark difference. Look, I'm always gonna, if people ask me for guidance on these things, I always want to steer them away from the possibility of having to kill people for
Yeah.
opportunity or money.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but there's a really stark difference between seeing the military as an opportunity and joining the military for, I believe, what's scientifically called giggles, right?
No, 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 sir. It's called primal compulsion.
Primal compulsion. The serial killer urge to destroy lives. All right. So anyway, sorry, we spent enough time on this. It freaks me out whenever people say shit like
I
that. So
know. So then he adds to this is like, remember when we were doing Hold Your Fire, the Brooklyn standoff, and like it was already
yeah,
bad, and they were like, no, 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 wait, there's more. I want to add on to this. I know I already said like they don't even maybe they don't even know what they really said. Okay, so he's already primal compulsion, analogous to a woman's desire to give birth. He adds, maybe that's one of the reasons that man has been involved in so many wars over so many millennia, because of this innate desire on the part of men to fight each other and kind of have that experience in their lives. So, like you said, more
he,
giggles.
he's speaking to something far above what he understands here. But also, I think most wars have been caused by one really rich guy telling the poors to go hit each other. You know, like like it really, like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
gave me the
exactly.
option, you know, like if you were like, hey, Chris, do you want to like just go, I don't know, show up in the desert, be amongst a lot of people who really don't like what you're doing to their country, and maybe get shot at? No, just like if I have the option, no, right?
You're not in touch with your primal
I guess I'm not. I
compulsions.
guess I must not.
You're
I
not a
guess I'm not
compulsive.
a.
You're
I'm
not a
not a
compulsive
real.
primate.
I must not be a real man. I
You're
guess
not
I
a
also,
compulsive primate.
one thing I got to point out though is very interesting. It's just very interesting that he brought up a woman's compulsion to have a child and not
Yes.
the experience that you would assume he would have a compulsion for, which would be, you know, to breed and have that
To
child.
breed that, I mean, it's not
The
a
one the,
great
the
thing to
experience that
hear,
he
but
could
yeah,
probably
right.
speak to, right? Is the compulsion to, I don't know, use what he's got. Why is he worried about what the other sex can even
Pass the
do?
seed. But
It's
but
interesting.
but it's
It's an
also
interesting choice of
amazing.
words there.
By the way, it's amazing because he is completely leaving out this equation. The women who go to war and give birth.
No, I'm
Oh my
sure. I'm
god.
sure. I'm sure he didn't even know that happened until he got
Yeah,
there.
he didn't put those two together.
No.
That's a whole yeah. That, so he trains. He told the Buffalo News once. Oh no, his brother about Steve told the Buffalo News once. He trains to make himself physically fit to the extreme. Yeah, how else are you gonna be a compulsive primate without one?
Right.
He will hike 50 miles from Buffalo to Ellicottville. I don't know where that is, but whatever. With a 60-pound weight strapped to his back, and he's done it many times.
All
So
right.
he's just putting shit in his
Well, all
life
right.
that's like angry and gritty. Like he's just throwing it on himself. Like where some people just like can't wait to thrive and be in a good place in their life. He's like, no, more pain. Must.
I mean,
Compulsive.
I like this. I like this. I like this workout side of him. I just want to contain this. I want to contain this drive
I
purely
don't
to
know, man.
hiking and working out.
There's nothing wrong with hiking, and there's
I'm
nothing wrong with
saying,
working
I'm just
out.
saying that if we could harness and focus his resolve away from killing people and purely into personal development, we could have a real winner on our hands here.
It's true. I mean, yeah, if he did that, not to go to war, but, you know, I don't know, did it for 50 miles to Ellicottville for poverty, 60 pounds representing, I don't know, the amount of food we can give each person that were
I
serving in the
also,
military.
yeah, yeah,
Who knows?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's like
yeah,
there's like
yeah.
lots of ways this could have gone, but
Uh, uh,
we would rather wake up and get shot in a desert, so can't do that.
I also got to tell you, I'm looking at Ellicottville,
Hmm.
and on a map, and I
Oh, you found
believe
it.
it. I did. It was very easy to find. It is
No, no,
it
no.
is exactly 51 miles due south, basically,
Okay. All right.
of Buffalo, and it has six businesses.
All right. So now it
So I
got
don't
set.
know. I just there's a lot of towns of similar size in the area. I don't know why. I can't for the life of me figure out why he would want to do. Anyway, the Google estimate on that walking distance under normal circumstances is about 16 and a half hours. Just thought you should know.
And that's without the 60-pound weight.
That's without a 60-pound weight, obviously.
Right. And without being primal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, with the stats pushed on the primal, if you've
yeah,
got a
yeah.
+5 in primal, that's going to take you
Right,
all of
right,
about like 13
right.
hours because you're an alpha male. So yeah.
Um, yeah. So, I mean, I guess he wants to be number seven. If there's six there, he's like incoming number seven. The Barnes is approaching. So Steve was working at a large corporate defense firm in between, I guess, military, and doomsday training and yeah, yeah, all those things, and still being a lawyer, working at corporate defense office. Uh, and Cellino approaches him about joining. As right now, Cellino's firm isn't huge, but he's trying to sell him on this big idea. He's talking about the advertising and his idea, and that he wants to grow. And he said that Cellino remembers Barnes calling. So this is like the day after. Barnes called and said, "Did you make a decision?" Like that would be like me calling the person that interviewed me the day after and being like, "So what's up?" You know, like
Yeah, yeah,
instead of waiting for it. But Salino loved the raw aggression, he said,
of course.
or at least that's the interpretation. He loved the raw aggression. So that should work for us then, right? I'm sure raw aggression works in our industries too. You know. He says this has got to be the right guy. So that's what did it. That so nothing
I,
tops it
I,
there.
I must
Um,
hire this sexual harassment case waiting to happen.
um,
I must hire this walking harassment case. Okay,
so they met each other. Yeah, no, so Selena's right, taking fresh off taking over for his
and
father as
Barnes
he's
they meet each other,
retiring.
and Barnes just like immediately slaps his ass.
Good job.
Good job. Here I
Let's get him.
am.
So it said that while later on Selena would have this image of like the more family, I guess, wholesome person. Early on, it says Selena was out there all aggro too. He said he had a list of all the people that owed his father money and his father's firm money, and he went after them. And when I read this, I was like, is this man like, is he also in the mob? Because it sounds like he's like the loan shark, making sure he gets his piece. He got a list of all the people who owe his father's money, and he went after them. It also sounds like
I mean, to
the
in
trailer to
what
Munich.
in what in what in what way? I mean, is he just suing them
Well,
because they're late on payments, or is he going after them the way Steve Barnes is out here, slinging his
but
dick around and
well, that's the thing. I think he's physically going out there and getting them, because this person said I had a case. This other lawyer is saying I had a case involving a poor guy on the east side of Buffalo that claimed this lawyer was after him to pay water bills and past rent and past water bills, and it like the way it's described, it looks like he's actually it's not just phone calls. He's coming to his door. At least that's the way it's shown. It looks like it's happening here, and he said he was matter of fact, and he didn't. It didn't matter how poor this guy is. He needs his money back. He needs a father. He's getting his father's money.
I believe In lawyering terms, this is called blood from a stone.
All right, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's like the legal advice that I see people, lawyers on Twitter saying is like, no, man, you don't try for a judgment of payment where a person obviously wouldn't be able to pay you back because that's a waste of your own money,
yeah,
right? Because then you need to pay
right,
me, and we're not getting that money from that guy. So what are you doing?
right.
You're just wasting everybody's time.
Blood from a that's way better than what it sounds good. Blood from a stone sounds like an Oath Keepers adjacent group.
Well, no, it's a common phrase.
Okay,
It's like
now I
getting
know.
blood from a stone. It's impossible.
It's impossible. All right, well, that's an interesting. There's a lot of things that are impossible, but it sounds pretty fucking biblical.
I know, but
And
that
yeah,
probably that comes from probably an age of fucking alchemy or some shit.
yeah,
So who
yeah.
knows?
All right, so Barnes is on, Cellino's on, and the partnership has begun. The old guard leaves, and the pair made a critical decision. From now on, it would be injury law all the time, 24/7, 365. They would take cases on contingency. That means the client paid no money up front, and the attorneys kept a third of whatever was won minus costs. But injury clients aren't usually repeat customers unless they keep getting fucked up. Um, so to grow,
Or
they
why?
needed
Yeah.
lots of cases. So I can continue now. I wasn't sure what your status is.
Yeah, let's leave it there for part two.
All right. All right. We will be back for those who hear the combined
I'm
Ballad. This is
yeah,
just a mere blip on the
I'm
Ballad.
I'm excited to hear about how they how a guy as aggressive as Barnes grows a business that needs a lot of personal injury cases in prehistoric Buffalo, New York, the 80s.
Well, Buffalo's only the beginning. It's like Howard Dean, that Howard Dean clip, and we'll go to Georgia, and we'll go to Tennessee, and we're gonna go. Well, the fuck is gonna expand. All right.
Oh God.
The injury shall expand.
Yeah. Hopefully that's the only thing on Barnes that expands.
All right.
All righty, I'll see everybody
It's
for part
Barnes,
two.
baby. All right. Barnes time. Okay. Yeah. I'll see you. See you next time.